Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, no matter where you are. My name is Yogesh Chavda. I'm the founder of Y2S Consulting, and I'm also the director for the Center for Marketing Solutions at the University of South Carolina's Business School. Today, I am so excited to have Yishai Lehavi here. He's one of the co-founders of a company called Tulu, which may not be a household name today, but I'm sure he wants it to be in the coming months and years ahead, basically, right? So I'm so delighted, Yishai, that you're here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So why don't we first start by you giving us a little bit of background as to who you are and tell us a little bit about Tulu as a company.
In my previous life, before, first of all, the name and accent, these are from Israel.
Mhm.
After servicing in the Israeli Intelligence Corps for many years, I ended up being an architect. So prior to Tulu, that's what I did. And after being a somehow depressed architect for a few years, I went to an incubator. By the way, can you see me? Because I see that I'm
Yeah, there's a bit of a lag going on. It happens occasionally, so I apologize for that.
okay. That's fine. So I hope I won't freeze in embarrassing moments. Um, I started saying that after being a depressed architect, I went to an incubator program at MIT called DesignX, where I met my co-founder Yael. Yael is coming from environmental entrepreneurship background, and I believe that Yael's alternative approach to consumerism with my approach to technology and the built environment have melted to what eventually Tulu would become.
Mhm. Amazing, amazing. So that's an incredible background and, and a storyline that you have about yourself. So tell us about Tulu as a company. What is Tulu? What do they do? What do you guys do from that perspective?
Yeah, so in Tulu, we're building the world's most powerful product usage platform. And we're
Mhm.
doing this to unveil real world's needs and behaviors. Um, and the way we're doing it is three steps. One is that we're um, building this infrastructure of in-building retail touch points where
Mhm.
we put physical units with different products in buildings, residential buildings, student housing buildings, office buildings. And by doing so, we're allowing a seamless experience of usage from the residents that are becoming the Tulu users. And then by having this access to these people in their natural living environment, we're able to collect both qualitative and quantitative data that is very unique because it is usage based, unbiased, first-hand data of how people really use products in their day to day. And then by leveraging AI, we're transforming this data into eventually very unique consumer insights and actionable recommendations, and are helping all of the ecosystem that we're building of both the consumers, the property owners and managers that are allowing us to put the Tulu units in their buildings,
Mhm.
and eventually the brands to have better decisions when they're thinking about their consumption or the product that they manufacture or provide to their residents, because eventually we want to eliminate this gap between what brands offer and what is it that consumers value. And I
Mhm.
can talk about this gap a bit more.
There's so many doors I want to go through, so it's going to be hard to choose which is the right one. So I'm going to actually, start by saying that, okay, so in a way you are kind of like placing these retail touch points in places that would typically not be there in a way, right? And you're capturing a lot of information through your through these devices that you're setting up, basically, right? No, I wouldn't even call it device. Actually, it's like a literally like a. Is it even appropriate to call it vending machine, or what would you call it?
So we don't like this term vending machine. We're calling it
That's
Tulu units. Maybe I'll show one. Just
yeah.
try to present here. So share screen, and you'll need to tell me if you can see my screen here. Uh, can you see here my screen?
No, I
No.
can't see nothing yet.
I need to open system settings, so maybe it is a bit more complicated.
Okay.
Um, let's see if it is allowing me, and if not, we'll just tell everyone to go to our website.
Yeah. In fact, what I'll do is I'll actually drop the website in the chat, so
Okay.
that way people can actually follow along if they want to see it.
Yeah. So I'm not sure it is allowing me to present. So
No
we'll just.
problem. That's okay. So describe a Tulu unit as you described it. Like, so, obviously you don't want to be referenced with the.
Can
Oh,
you
there
see
it
that?
is. You know what? I can put it in. Hold on. Give me one sec. I'm going to add it to the stage. Let's see if that comes through. There you go.
Okay. So just to give some visual of how does it look like. So you can see here a Tulu unit. It has different either products that people can rent or people can purchase, anything from a vacuum cleaner to PlayStation to VR headset to snacks to beverages to ice creams.
Mhm.
And very easily with an app, people are unlocking the item, they're taking it, they either eat it or use it.
Mhm.
And when they're doing this, they can take videos of themselves with conversational AI, instructing them of how to take this video, or as you see here, to give some feedback through the app of the products. And
Mhm.
this is how we all the time are just collecting this both qualitative and quantitative data, as I've mentioned.
Amazing. So do people return the products if they're like durable products like the vacuum cleaner? They can actually return it back to the Tulu unit. Is that how it works? Or
Yes. So yeah. So we have the products that are in a rent model. Okay.
okay.
So we just
Mhm.
the residents are subscribing to Tulu, and they can rent as much as they want for a
Okay.
few hours per product. And of
Yeah.
course, if they're buying a product, this is on top of it.
Mhm.
And when they're renting, or when they're buying in the app, they're being asked if they want to provide us with their feedback.
Yeah.
If they do so, they're getting something for it. And this is
Yeah.
how we collect this data from highly engaged users, again, in their natural living environment and without any bias. These are the people that are constantly using the products. So
Mhm. Mhm.
we can, for example, have segmentation of we want to learn from people who use the fifth time the upholstery cleaner and
Mhm.
usually are complaining about the weight.
Hmm.
So this is something that we can do, which I believe is very unique. And this is just because we have access to these people that are just using again and again and again the products.
Well, no, that's incredible because having worked in the insight space for so many years, you can collect the data, claim data for how frequently you've used, how often you've used, whatever it is, and you'll see the 1+, 2+, 3+ users, but there's such a small percentage of the population to actually go find them and actually have conversations with them becomes really hard. But it seems like you've actually cracked that with the technology like this. It seems like.
Yes, so we call it the Tulu Experts Club. So these are users that we also train of how
Hmm.
to provide feedback, and
Right.
we can rank them based on the feedback that they're providing. So if now if a vendor, if a partner of ours, a brand partner,
Yeah.
wants to learn from not just this regular segmentation of age, gender,
Hmm.
income, all these things that of course we also segment based on this. They can really ask for highly qualified people. Again, I said based on their usage patterns, but also
Yeah.
based on the quality of the feedback that they're providing. So in
Amazing.
that case, and we always have these touch points with these people. So
Mhm.
you can always go back to the highly qualified reviewers.
So tell me, so you've obviously been expanding and building up multiple locations for this. Do you do you prioritize how many people are actually on your app and who are using these tools? And like can you give us a sense of size at this point, or is it still too early for you to do that?
I know. So Tulu is. It took us some time to build this infrastructure,
Yeah.
an ecosystem that is connecting, as I've mentioned earlier, the
Mhm.
consumers, the properties, and the brands.
Yeah.
And we're really booming. We're adding these units every day. We're operating in 53 cities across the US, the EU, and the UK. Our outreach is to about 250,000 people.
Wow.
And we have tens of thousands of people that are just using us all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's from a scale perspective, we're definitely there.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the interesting things that we've learned, and maybe we'll talk about it a bit along the way here about AI, but
Yeah.
one of the things is that we all at the beginning we really look at the unique value of our quantitative data.
Mhm.
Because again, we can say, for example, that people are using a specific product usually on Thursday night, which
Mhm.
is it is a unique insight. The question is, then what? Okay, so this is an insight.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's nice, great,
Mhm.
but what am I doing with it?
Right.
And what AI is allowing us to do is two things. A is also collect the qualitative part in scale.
Mhm.
So we integrated these conversational AI features and the videos of people taking themselves only like in the last year or so.
Yeah.
So this combination of the qualitative in scale and the quantitative is what makes this extremely powerful. And also it allows the ability um, to analyze data in a way that people cannot do, or if you want people to do, you just need to
Mm.
be an army of people just going through this data.
Yeah.
And for us now we have hundreds of people that are providing this videos of themselves using the product, surveys,
Mhm.
and again everything with the thousands data points from the usage patterns, and the AI is just taking everything
Mhm.
and generating insights that we believe that in the long run we as people would not even be able to think about.
Right, right. No, that's amazing, and I'm glad you brought up the whole AI thing because I don't let any of my guests get away with me without talking about AI, right? So since you brought it up, let's just kind of like unpack that a little bit more. So you talked about the conversational AI piece of it. There's the analytics piece of it. Are you even thinking at some point about predictiveness or prediction capabilities, or is that something on your roadmap?
Yeah, so the AI the AI is actually amplifying the value that we provide for the ecosystem that we've built.
Right.
So I'll start with the value it provides for the consumer.
Hmm.
What we learned in a hard way, okay, that it's not enough just to put some vacuums and scooters and ice creams and hope that people will be using it.
Right.
Um, you have to do two things. You have to understand that today's consumers are really looking for a personalized experience.
Hmm.
And also, they're really looking to have the actual value of a product, not just the perceived value.
Hmm.
And to provide them with actual value, and this is why the idea of usage-based consumption is so aligned with this new mindset of many Gen Zs and millennials. If you are talking about this actual value, you need to do two things. You need to be able to transform or to leverage the perceived value to make people use
Hmm.
for the first time a product.
Right.
But then you need to make sure that it provides them with the actual value so they keep on using it.
Correct.
And in the digital products, they actually are able to do this because you download an app, for example.
Hmm.
So the company knows why you downloaded the app. They know the perceived value.
Hmm.
Unlike physical products, they now know to track the usage.
Hmm.
How do you use the app?
Right.
They would know why you churned. They
Hmm.
would know what features are you using more or less.
Yeah.
With physical products, who knows? You sell a product, and then it's a complete blind spot. So
Correct.
you're very good at the perceived value of how to
Yeah.
sell a product, but this disconnect between the perceived value and the actual value is something that in the physical world is just broadening the gap between what brands offer and what consumers value.
But let me kind of like clarify a bit. So I can see that in the context of durable products, like the vacuum cleaner example that you showed in the video. But what about, consumer packaged goods like a can of Coke or, a bag of chips? Those are consumable items. How are you picking up on that, if at all?
Yeah, so what I want to say that once you understand that you need to tackle both the perceived value and the actual value,
Yeah.
now we understand that you need to personalize the experience. And the AI is enabling us to personalize the experience of our consumers even before they're starting using Tulu, because we have lookalikes from other consumers
Mhm.
that we now, because you asked about predictability, we know to predict how this personalized experience, digital experience, should look like. So
Right.
it's done in two layers. One, the curation of the products in the Tulu unit. We're using AI
Hmm.
to curate the right mix of products for the segment of a specific building.
Hmm.
Okay, so we create this predictability that these people in this building, the chances for them using either the appliances or to buy the products,
Hmm.
we have better chances to do so. And
Yeah.
then we have this experience in the app that the products that you see that are highlighted for you, the messaging that we are triggering you to go and buy a product or to use a product, this is very personalized, and this is how we make it happen. And this is thanks to AI. Now, when it comes to buying a product, we know your patterns over and over and over again. Okay, so we know when are you buying a specific product. We also ask why. Okay, because of all of these questions, so we know why,
Mhm.
and again, we know to trigger you to buy this product again. So this, the perceived value here is very important when you're buying a product, but also when
Mhm.
when it becomes a pattern of buying again and again and again, we
Mhm.
also know what made you buy for the second time, for the third time, and for the fourth time.
Right. Okay. So the fact that you're picking up so much information, right, and you're using AI to help you do this, I was very intrigued when you said that even based on the building location, you're determining what's the mix of products that you're offering, right? There's a lot of thought that's being put into how you're actually curating and how you're trying to drive consumption at the end of the day. So it's actually changing. Is it changing consumer behaviors because you have the Tulu units in the building?
So our thesis around this is that the we are not the ones that are creating this change in behavior. This is
Okay.
happening regardless of Tulu. Okay,
Okay.
people, as I said earlier, they already today they want to consume based on their needs.
Correct.
It's on the actual value that products uh, are
Mhm.
providing them. And I believe that the fact that there is this shift in their mindset is also an outcome of them becoming more and more used to the fact that they can have in digital products,
Mhm.
they that the companies of the digital products are providing them with constant value
Yeah.
that is usage-based value.
Right.
Again, physical products, we're not able to do this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so this shift is happening regardless of tool. What we are doing is to enabling
Mhm.
consume based of how people already tuned to this
Yeah.
mindset. And
Yeah.
what we know is that it has to be extremely convenient. I need something now, I have it now. Because if it's not convenient, we can talk a lot about how great this type of consumption might look like, but
Mhm.
people will talk the talk, but they won't walk the walk.
Of
When it's
course.
in your building and you just need to go downstairs, it's very
Mhm.
pragmatic. It's just very easy.
Mhm.
And this is why going to buildings was a strategic decision that we've made,
Mhm.
both because this is how to make people use, and
Right.
also how we create this access to people in like really embedded in
Mhm.
the daily life.
I'm curious, do you find that there are, I know you're focusing on the behavioral side of the experience, but in a way, there's also a demographic component to it as well, right? So, young people may, naturally, gravitate towards using digital products and apps and things like that. But I could also see older people in building units who are limited from a transportation perspective might find this kind of solution helpful to them as well, because it's like you said, it's just downstairs in the building. So are you seeing those kinds of change, those things as already, or not yet?
It's interesting. One of the challenges that we have
Hmm.
is that we are very, our go-to-market strategy is very urban,
Okay.
for mainly Gen Z and millennial consumers. Okay,
Okay.
we're very strong with student housing,
Hmm.
and we're very strong with more luxurious high rises in big cities.
Hmm.
And usually today, these are like more aimed for young professionals.
Yeah.
So there is, in a way, some bias for us. Like we're very good in learning these segments.
Hmm.
Um, we do learn that many times it's if people are using a product and they provide feedback on specific features, the age is not a real it's not the main thing that would make this insight interesting.
Yeah.
Mainly when it's in scale and you can really just say, okay, so many people, although they're the same age group, their experience is the same. um, but sometimes it is limiting a bit us with the segments that we are looking at.
Yeah.
Uh, we do have also buildings with more life experience type of.
People like me. It's okay. You're good. Don't worry.
Yeah, so 30 plus like you.
You're too kind.
So we do have also this segment.
Yes.
They're using Tulu, but sometimes they're a bit less tech savvy, so
Sure.
some more education. But our current millennials and Gen Zs,
Hmm.
eventually they will become the 30 plus like you people, right? So
Yes. Yeah.
um, we believe that today our challenge is that we need to come and to do things to make people consume differently.
Yeah.
Right? We're going.
Yeah.
People already have products, right? And we need to tell them, look, you can use instead of own. So we need to shape the consciousness in a way.
Yeah.
When Tulu is becoming more and more of a standard, and you started by saying that maybe it's not a household name yet, but
Yeah.
in some areas, I'm always surprised that it's actually already is.
Yeah.
So when it's becoming more and more of a standard,
Yeah.
then our job will be easier.
Hmm.
And I can give you examples. We have Tulu users that had Tulu in their student housing in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
They moved to their first apartment in New York, and they already knew about Tulu. They had both in this building and in that building. There was no education needed.
Correct.
Right? They already moved, and they knew, okay, I have Tulu. So the
Hmm.
adoption is becoming much faster. So this is where the reality will shape the consciousness.
Yeah.
It will take time, but we're here for the long run.
Amazing. So I want to kind of like switch gears a little bit. So you talked about what the tool what Tulu does, the units, what's possible with data capture and analysis and interpretation, all that kind of stuff. That's great. Talk to me now about the brands that you've been collaborating with. I know you may not be able to share all the details because of confidentiality and all that good stuff. But could you give us a couple of very specific use cases that you'll have worked on so far, so that people can understand that okay, you're getting all this information. We get the fact that it's in a location, etc. But what do I do? Like what can I do if I'm a brand? So if you could just speak to that.
Yes. So I'll give an example from our partnership with Kircher and Philips. Versuni is the mother company of Philips.
Yeah.
So, for example, with both of these partners, they wanted to learn about specific products that are currently already in the market towards the renovation phase, which is to learn from the current models towards future ones.
Hmm.
So they said what is the kind of geography that is their interest, what is the demographic is that their interest.
Hmm.
And then we together we chose Tulu buildings to provide them with the access to gain eventually the data and then the insights.
Yeah.
And then it's a very seamless process of them just sending us the products. We are putting them inside the Tulu units.
Mm-hmm.
And then two things are happening. A, people just organically are using the products and providing with their feedback.
Yeah.
And we also leveraging this Tulu Experts Club that I talked about. And we're just sending notifications to the Tulu Experts Club. Go and use this product and provide us with feedback. They're taking videos of themselves with the app. Everything goes to our platform, which I'll show you in a minute.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And then, you know what, I'll show it now to maybe
Yeah.
after we realize how can I show here stuff, I'll leverage this a bit.
Of course. Go for it.
So you'll just need to tell me that you see my screen here.
Yep, it's coming up. There you
Okay.
go.
So for example, this is, I'm not sharing here something that is not to be shared.
Yeah.
So there are different studies. I'll show you through the studies. So there are different studies here that the brand would want to learn, anything from messaging effectiveness, like what makes people use a product or buy a product. We can test this. Trends in product failure over time. We know, again, the quantitative part, so we know when products are being, eventually all the fuck-ups that are coming up, feature usability insights, these kind of studies. So the brand is deciding on a study that they want to conduct. Let's look at the user's first product impression. Okay, that was a study. They want to learn how the first-time users of the product perceive the product. So we had here a study with 150 students and young professionals in the Netherlands, Denmark, and Germany. And so we wanted here to learn their first impression. And you can see here insights that and themes that the AI is generating. So the vacuum performance and features, powerful suction. Okay, and then it explains you everything, including some raw materials that you can see. I'll show it in a second. Cleaning efficiency and user experience, etc., etc. Eventually, it provides you as the brand with actionable recommendations. Okay, improve edge cleaning and hair pickup, enhance maintenance between rentals, simplify design. Well, this was for us, by the way. Enhance maintenance between rentals. This is internally for us. Simplify design while maintaining key features. So this platform, they have access to it all the time, and they can just see the recommendations, and it saves them. These recommendations are coming from amount of people that they never had in a qualitative study. Okay, 150 people providing them with videos of themselves using a product. Usually it's like 10 to 15. And so it's a completely different scale. And also it's instant. So I can show you here the ChatGPT kind of interface. So ask a question about the vacuum that you would want to learn.
Yeah.
We'll do it in live.
So what does it pick up? Let's say, a dog hair. I'm just picking a random thing.
Yeah, very random. Let's see what we will know. So it's analyzing all of the data that we collected, and here it will provide us with general hair pickup performance, effective on various type hair. Okay, so by the way, for the audience, it's not scripted. I didn't tell Yogesh what to ask. Okay,
you literally asked me right now, and I had to think about it on the fly. So
yeah, and we can always go here to see the what is it based on. Okay, so this is just someone that's provided with this answers. We have here also video of someone. Here we can see here.
Yeah.
Okay. So
look it upside down.
This is the test of the Tulu vacuum cleaner. So I will begin by turning the vacuum on.
Amazing.
Okay, so he talked about how the hair is being picked up.
Is the analytical capability that you just showed us, is it only text-based, or does it also analyze video and images as well?
So currently, it's only text. So we hear what they're saying. We also
Yeah.
instruct them of how to talk while they're taking the video.
Yeah.
Okay, so because this is how we learn.
Yeah.
And very soon, it will be able also to analyze the video. It will take us to a different place,
Yeah.
which is very cool because you can really imagine that
Mhm.
if in real time we can see that you didn't clean under the sofa and we want you to show us how you're cleaning under the sofa.
Yeah.
So the AI will be able to tell you, hey, can you go clean under the sofa? What we do today is that
Yeah.
we're breaking down the video to different areas of interest of the brand. Okay,
Mhm.
so if I go again with this cleaning under the sofa example, so I'm just giving it because it was it was something that was interesting for the brand. So
Yeah.
we can tell someone, okay, can you go please clean under the sofa and tell us how you felt about this?
Right.
The user is finishing this use case, and then, okay, can you go clean the carpet? Okay, so that's how we're now doing it without the real-time analysis of the video, but very soon this feature will be there as well.
That would be pretty phenomenal, actually, because if you're getting real time live video that you can actually interact with, from thousands of miles away, but by either you asking the question or even having AI prompt for certain parameters,
Yeah.
that's something unique. I'm not seeing that happen, in an in-home, in-use perspective. Focus groups and all that stuff. Yeah, that's a different story. But in this case, this is new. It's different. You know.
And it's in scale. So today, if you want to do something
Yeah.
similar to that in some perspective, so
Yeah.
you'll have either people coming to your office, right? And
Yeah.
then you will look at them doing things,
Yeah.
or you
Mhm.
will send them products. When sending them products, there's a lot of bias of how they're doing these diaries,
Yeah.
but also you're limited with the geography and the segments.
Mhm.
Here,
Mhm.
you just need to tell us, look, we want to compare students in London versus young families in New York.
Yeah.
And the next day, really, the next day, you
Mhm.
have insights. And this is a learning system. So it also optimizes the way we're asking the questions. Okay, because if, for example, what we learn is from the way that people are reacting to a product, that the one thing that is mostly bothering them is the weight.
Mm.
But don't just say that it's for all of them. It's just for this segment of women in the age of between 25 to 30
Yeah.
in London.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so the questions that this segment will be asked moving
Mhm.
forward will be on that point, and the AI will just do. And it's already, by the way, we're already doing this. It just optimizes itself, so it
Got
can
it.
go to really highly segmented use cases
Yeah.
in scale.
So you've kind of like triggered a thought in me, which is that I know you're familiar with synthetic data. That's becoming a hot topic right now in the marketing world, right?
Yes.
Um, you could potentially also be filling some of the gaps with because you've got real time foundational data sets that you're collecting already, and you can supplement it with synthetic data on top. Is that a conversation you guys have had, or what are your thoughts on that?
So yeah, as probably you know, synthetic data is one of the most debatable
Of course.
topics, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
if this is real or this is a fraud, right? There are
Yeah.
different
Yeah. Yeah.
different thoughts around this. We're big believers.
Hmm.
We're working on now of how to implement synthetic data, because once we can multiply, our 100 people,
Yeah.
2,000 people with synthetic data, of course, it just creates the validation way higher. Now, because we are going already in scale, qualitative in scale that no one is using today. Again,
Yeah.
this 10 people that brands used to have, we're giving them in the hundreds.
Yeah.
For us, it just, we can use not the hundreds, but the 50,
Hmm.
and to provide with insights that are based on the hundreds. So
Right.
we're still we're putting a lot of effort in really understanding if and how this would amplify our platform.
Yeah.
But we're big believers in this, and I think that this will be a game changer because we can really learn from less people a lot of things, and we'll be able to have many more studies at the same time. Because today, in order to get to 100 people, we need to, there is a limitation eventually of how many products we can provide at any given moment. And of course, once you don't need to have so many people, you can just have higher capacities.
I understand that. I completely get that. And you're right. Synthetic data is a debatable topic. In fact, I was going to say that towards the end of our podcast, but I'll just say it right now, and I'll probably repeat it again. There is an event that I'm co-hosting on February 18th, 19th, and 20th, sponsored by SOMAR, where we're talking about synthetic data. So if anybody wants information on that, please reach out to me. I can send you the links. In fact, I might even drop the link to that conference in the chat, so you're able to kind of register for that event. So sorry, Yishai, I have to.
We'll register as well. Sounds interesting. So yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome to come if you want to as well. Of course, and if you want to share, let me know. We can certainly talk about that as well.
Cool. But yeah, it's a very, very interesting topic, and it's a really potential game changer.
I agree with that. So we talked about AI. You've given us the broad constructs of how you're approaching it, what you're thinking about it. You brought in the synthetic data component to it as well. Let's talk a little bit about execution now. So if I'm a brand, let's say I'm working. I used to work at Procter & Gamble many years ago. And I still keep on talking about them. Compared to some of the other places I've worked at, but it's near and dear to my heart. So if I'm a brand at P&G, for example, and I want to come and work with you and test something out with you, what is the kind of information that you would need from me as the client? Do you need product? How much product do you need? What's the timelines? Just give us a sense of all that stuff.
Yeah, so everything eventually it starts with your study. Like, what is it that you want to learn? You are writing your research questions, okay, that of course are an outcome of the products that you want to learn about. And then our AI will translate these questions to the different channels in which we're collecting the data. So these channels could be a follow-up in-app questionnaire. Okay, you just finished now eating the ice cream. Okay, so a follow-up questionnaire. This will be the conversational survey that we're doing, and also the video surveys of how you really use the product. So you choose the products you are providing with research questions. Then our system knows automatically to suggest how many and which geographies and which segments of people, of consumers, the system is saying that will provide you with interesting insights based on their feedback.
Yeah,
you can then look at this and say, for example, actually I want to have a bit more. Sometimes, by the way, and maybe the audience here know it if they're coming from the brands world, but it's internal politics. As consumer insights people, you just want to say it's based on 100 people, although maybe the insights are good enough with 50, but you just need it to come stronger to the product people. Or so this happens as well. So they will say, okay, we want to have a bit more people. Actually, we're more interested in this geography. We're more interested in this segment. So our AI is providing like the basic suggestion, and then always there are some optimizations. Once we finalize the outreach, okay, they just send to one address the products, and then we are distributing them in the different buildings that we will be able to provide based on these buildings, the segmented outreach that the brand is interested in.
Yeah.
And then we're just pushing it. And again, as I said, there's just this, it depends also on the products. There are products that people are just using all the time or buying all the time. Then we don't need to do much. People will just take it. And there are products that people are not aware of. Okay, maybe it's a brand that wants to now to have a new product. Just it's prior even to mass production, and they want to test it out. So our consumers, they need to be told that there is this product. So this is when, again, we will use our experts club. We'll send them a notification, you have a new task,
Yeah.
and then they can just fill this task, go and use the product. Usually, we provide insights in about a week.
Mhm.
So A to Z,
Mhm.
you can just get it in a week.
Got it. Amazing. So all of this stuff, you're coming at it from an insights perspective. I get that, and your data collection, analysis, all that good stuff. But there's also some unexpected surprises that you've had with your business as well, right? And you and I were just talking before we started the podcast about the whole, urban living experience, sustainability side of it. That's not really your intention, but you're kind of like experiencing some of that too, right? So do you want to just talk a few minutes about that?
So I've mentioned at the beginning that Yael, my co-founder, is coming from an environmental entrepreneurship background, and I'm an architect. So we're always very critic when it comes to what might smells like greenwash. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's very important for us to emphasize both for ourselves and also externally, as we do now, that um, what our main driver
Mhm.
is this understanding of people's needs.
Mhm.
Okay, because I believe that with this information age revolution, it
Mhm.
really amplified the ability to transform what people want into a purchase.
Mhm.
This
Mhm.
is what everyone is good at. How do I take what you want and to be able to sell to you? And
Yeah.
as I mentioned earlier, this is about talking or understanding the perceived value of a product.
Mhm.
We believe that an economy that is based on both the perceived and the actual value of a product is just a way better economy.
Right.
And this is both from the consumer side, that is just consuming in a more responsible way.
Mhm.
I buy things that I need. So I will get the value that from what I buy.
Mhm.
So I won't, for example, buy something and just return it, and
Yeah.
all of the carbon footprint in the process. Um, I will buy things that will make my life better. So this is from the demand side,
Yeah.
from the consumers, but from the brand side, it allows them. I don't want to say to force them. So
Yeah.
let's be positive here. It allows them to better understand their consumers and to design and build and manufacture and sell products that are meeting the actual value.
Mhm.
And I'll give an example from the appliances side. When you are thinking about a product in that perspective of what is the actual value that it provides,
Mhm.
and I'll add to this the layer that many companies are trying also the direct to consumer approach. So the idea of retention, which is again, if going back to this digital product, right? Retention is everything in digital.
Yeah.
Physical, it's impossible. With e-commerce, it's easier in a way to try to measure retention, but to measure retention over time, it's hard. But when they're going to more and more e-commerce direct to consumer approach, they can measure retention.
Mhm.
And retention is only about the actual value, because you can
Yeah.
fool someone once to buy a
Of
product, but
course.
if the product is not good, they won't
They
buy it
won't.
again. So
Exactly. Exactly.
if they have this idea, if they have this understanding of the actual value that the consumer is getting from their product, this is how they will eventually build better products. Because today their incentive is to design products that people will buy again and again and again. So their shelf life will be bad, right?
Mhm.
So they can buy it again because they
Yeah.
can optimize about the purchases. But if you want to create retention and you want your brand to be very strong, so you want to build products that are actually last longer.
Right.
And then we believe that this is a big impact eventually of the ecosystem again that we build in this usage-based economy. That again is not replacing selling products, but the products that are being manufactured are just products that are meeting the actual needs of people.
I understand. So just to kind of like bring everything home now. So we talked about you know the your value proposition as a brand, what you guys are offering as a solution, in terms of access to data, high quality data, in fact, that can be used for helping brands figure out their product innovation strategy and go to market in a way, right? That's kind of like what I was taking away from our
Yes.
conversation so far. And then the part that you just talked about towards the end, which is that, hey, it's not just that; it's also about, the impact it's having on the broader ecosystem and society as well. So there's a lot going on here with what you've done with this little company today called Tulu, but it's having a big impact across so many different ways, right? So if I was to ask you, based on your experience, to other founders or entrepreneurs who are looking to get into a space like this, what would be your two or three pearls of wisdom, as they call it?
So I'm always a bit afraid of giving advices, because I do think that it's a very subjective both journey and also the only thing that I can say that I really think it's about the self ambitions and aspirations of the founders, and it really dictates everything, mainly in the beginning, right? I talked about what drives us, which is this understanding of people's needs and behaviors. And I think that every time that we are getting to these questions of what is it that we're doing now and why are we doing something, you have this anchor point that you can go always and ask yourself, is this is why I'm doing all of this? And it helps.
Yeah.
Now, it helps, and specifically in something like we do that just opens a lot of opportunities all the time.
Right.
We have access to people's usage behavior. There are so many things we can do with this.
Of course.
And yet, you need to decide what is it that you're doing with that. So you asked us for two or three. So I'll take to the next point. So beyond just what is it that you're interested in and what makes you excited, it's having a high-level, long-term strategy around it. Now, I know it's like a best practice to say, yeah, you need to have the vision and the mission and the execution. But it took me some time, and I'm talking, Tulu is there for 4.5 years now. It took me a few years
Yeah.
to really sit down and write down what is the vision and what is the mission and how do we execute. And when you're putting things like that,
Yeah.
it helps you to understand what is the end and what are means to an end. And it really helps to frame things, first of all, internally to the team. Look, very honest, we're doing this because it's opportunistic. We need to make more money. So we're doing this. Why are we doing this? Because this money will help us to do this that might not generate enough money today. In the future, yes, but this will be the vehicle that will help us doing that. So when we can just put things in the right boxes as part of the broader vision, it helps a lot. It's not easy. It took us some time, but today I'm very easily, I can just say, what is it that why are we doing this? Again, we're unveiling real world needs and behaviors.
Yeah.
It's the why. The what, we're building the most powerful product usage platform in the world. Okay, this is the what. And also the how. We're putting these micro retail touch points in buildings, allowing people to use products. We're leveraging this access to people in their natural living environment to generate firsthand, unique usage-based data.
Mhm.
And with AI, we're transforming this data into actionable insights to provide recommendations to allow both the consumers and the brands to have better product decisions. So it really helps me
Mhm.
to look at everything and then say, okay, we're doing this because this is part of the why, this is part of the what, this is part of the how, and within the how, this is part of the different um, acts of the strategy that we have.
Amazing.
So this is the second maybe wisdom that I
Well, notice I didn't use the word advice. I said wisdom because you have wisdom in having gone through your own experiences, and no two people, no two organization has the same exact experience, right? So, but there's a lot of learnings that are beneficial to everyone. So I really, Yishai, this has been a fantastic conversation. I've learned so much from you about your business, your approach to the usage of AI and even synthetic data for that matter as well. So thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast. For those of you who haven't connected yet with Yishai, I would encourage you to do that on LinkedIn. I'm sure he wouldn't mind that, of course. And then the website is tulu.io, tulu.io. So feel free to go check it out. It's definitely worth checking out because
will just add, Yogesh, if it's okay, to just
yeah,
add
please.
the brand that we use for our brands partnerships is actually it's under the name Tune, Tune, and the website is tuneinsights.ai.
Oh, even better. I did not know that. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes, so
So
for the brands out there,
mhm,
we're very happy to add more and more partnerships. It's really something I believe very exciting and unique that we can provide with. And go to the Tune website to learn more.
of course, of course. Well, thank you so much again, and for everybody on the show today and who are listening after the show after the live event. Our next one's going to be on February 21st. We have Kushank Agarwal coming in. I found Kushank through TikTok, believe it or not. He talks a lot about AI tools and his take on what he's seeing in the AI space. So I think he's going to be another a fascinating person to talk to. So please make sure to sign up for that particular show. And I just saw right now, very briefly, Charlie Rader from P&G. He's just put in and saying, "Hey, I saw you at Team RE. Exciting
Hey,
offers."
Charlie.
So there you go. Thanks, Charlie, for posting on here as well. So thanks, everyone. We'll see you again soon. Take care.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Ciao. Thank you for having me.